let's now discuss the internal structures. All right, so we're going to begin here in the upper part here. We're going to see that sharks actually have a two-chambered heart. So you have the atrium and then also the ventricle here. All right, so you have the atrium and the ventricle. You'll see the largest organ that you'll see is the liver. So if I pull out one lobe, there's actually 3 lobes of the liver. It has 2 larger lobes, so you can pull those out. All right, so you have one lobe here, and then another lobe, and then a much smaller lobe right here in the middle, and it actually connects the gallbladder. So you can see here the gallbladder, it's kind of a greenish black color. It actually will store excess bile. So the bile is secreted by the liver, and any excess bile would be stored there in the gallbladder. All right, so if we move the lobes, I'm going to disconnect that. All right, now you see the J-shaped organ. All right, so that is the stomach. All right, so you can see the stomach here. Connected to the stomach is the pancreas. All right, so you can see the pancreas here. It's this little circular structure here, just right off the end of the stomach, known as in that J part where you curl up here. So you have the pancreas. You also have a larger structure here. This is known as the spleen. All right, so the spleen is just underneath the stomach here. The spleen is not part of the digestive tract, but it's associated with the circulatory system. You'll see just beyond, so we have the J-shaped stomach, the pancreas here, the spleen. Then you have what's known as the spiral intestines. All right, so the spiral intestines, they're going to be distinguished by the extensive arteries and veins that cover the surface. If you run your hand over here, you can see why they get their name, because they feel very, they're spiral. You also have here what's known as the rectal gland, and so it's going to aid also in digestion. So you have the rectal gland here. All right, so from the spiral intestines, it moves down, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this region here. See if I can't cut some of this so we can see a little bit more. But from the spiral intestines, you move into the rectum and then out the cloaca. All right, so remember the cloaca is an opening used for both digestion and reproduction. So I'm going to go ahead and move the pelvic fins so we can see a little bit better. All right, so here, and then you go out. So you have the rectum and then out the cloaca. I don't know if you can see that very well. All right, so I mentioned that this is a female. All right, and so you'll see here. All right, so let me move over in my instructions. This is when you wish you had a lab partner to be the page turner. And I'm going to grab another glove because it's hard One thing you notice when you're doing the dissection of the shark is they're very oily. It's hard to get back on your glove. All right, so we have a female, and you're going to see here, first of all, you have these structures down here that will lead up. That's going to lead up to the ovaries. All right, and so here are, whoops, and I just cut it open and I didn't mean to. All right, so you have ovary over here with eggs. So what would happen if this animal would continue developing those eggs? They would develop into a yolk sac along with the embryo. So you have ovaries on this side, and then if you move that stomach out of the way, you'll see also those on this other side here. All right, so this animal is a female. All right, so you basically have the oviducts running up what would be the oviducts running up into the ovaries. So if we were to remove the ovaries and the eggs inside, all right, so we don't actually have any embryos that have developed yet. Same thing on this side here. I'm trying to think, these look a little bit more I'm gonna see about cutting open this. See if I see anything a little bit different there. All right, so that was the ovary with the eggs. All right, so just to review for the shark dissection, remember we have a female. Sharks have a two-chambered heart, so they have a single atrium and a single ventricle. They have one of the larger structures that we see inside the animal are going to be the lobes of the liver. So we have two larger lobes and then a much smaller lobe here that connects the gallbladder. If you move the lobes of the liver out of the way, you have your J-shaped stomach. You have a pancreas here, the spleen, the spiral intestines. Of course, from the spiral intestines, you go to the rectum and out the cloaca. And then you also have the rectal gland, which aids in digestion as well. Of course, you have the oviducts running to the ovaries. So when you pull the lobes of the liver out of the way and also the stomach, you would be able to see the ovaries, which I actually removed with the eggs. All right, so I'm just going to take just a few more minutes here with the dissection. I'm going to cut open the stomach just to see if we can see what maybe this animal ate. Sometimes we'll see some very small shrimp and not seeing too much here. Partially digested food. I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit more. Yeah, so just to pull up, trying to figure out what maybe it ate. It's kind of difficult here. I am seeing bits of partially digested, mechanical digestion of food. Exactly what that was, not sure. If you look at the anatomy inside that stomach, you can see how you've got those ribs there. tissues making up the stomach. Well, that completes our dissection of the shark. I'm not going to try to, and I may try to get the brain out, but I'm not going to do that dissection. And if I get the brain, I will pull that out and do another part for this dissection, if I can get it out whole, and so we can see some of those structures.